Episode 66 of Speak On It, the Alan Faneca episode. I looked that up. I'm your host. I did my
I
homework. I
said
did
the
my
who
homework.
who? The who who?
Alan Faneca played for the Steelers. I did my homework this week. I'm very proud of myself. I came very prepared because we were talking about a lot of fun stuff this week. I'm your host, Danny Ocean, as always, joined by the smoothest man on the planet, Losty Mix. How you living?
Hey man, I'm living pretty good despite all the scams out here in the world that are trying to get you. So I wanna start by telling all the people out here it is the first of the month, or well, technically it's the second of the month if you're listening to this. So you probably have someone who's trying to reach out to you right now, trying to get you to pay a bill or some bill that they say that you owe. Tell them to kiss your ass, especially if it is some BS.
Okay. Giving the
Flooring.
finger to the man.
Floored. Yeah, yo, it costs $1,400 to replace flooring. I don't think so. Not in a one-bedroom apartment. What about you? You think so?
No, I don't think so. That sounds fishy to me. And
Sound
you know
mad?
what? And you know what? Speaking of scams, I got a parking ticket last week for parking in a spot that I've been parking in at the barbershop for 2 years now, and all of a sudden I can't park there. I got a parking ticket last week. So you know what? You're right. Fuck these scams.
That makes two of us that got parking tickets last week because I also got a parking ticket last week because essentially the park where in my neighborhood you need kind of like a zone kind of parking or you do the street parking, and I wanted to see how long it would take for me to get a parking ticket. Well, it took me a month. You know what that tells me? As long as I move my car every day, I will not get a ticket. So will
So
I
you're
pay
not
the
gonna,
ticket? Yeah. They won the battle, but I'm gonna win the war. You won't ever catch this car again, and if you do, it's because Jesus parted the seas or Moses parted the seas.
oh my god. Um. So you're not just gonna get the little parking permit or the little sticker to put on your car? Nope.
What?
Okay.
That's like $200 I can save.
I mean, is it $200 a year or 200 a month? Like, what's the? Is it $200 one time thing?
It could be the two. It could be $2. It's the
It's
principle.
it's the
It's the
principle.
principle.
Okay, I understand where you're coming from.
Okay, so I have serious issues with like, but this may be the cheapness. I have serious issues with like parking, like zone
Yes.
parking, because it's like okay, so you want me to pay to park in this zone like monthly or even like for a few hours, but y'all don't pay no part of my car note bill? Yeah, kiss my fucking ass. I'm parking where the fuck I feel like it until y'all chip in on my car note. Then maybe we can talk about, paying the park. But until then, kiss my fucking ass.
There you go. I love the defiance. I love a good rebel because you're not a rebel without a cause. You're a rebel with a cause, and I appreciate a cause, and I appreciate that you acknowledge that you're cheap because as someone who is cheap as well, like I'm just not throwing my money away just to be throwing it away. So I appreciate that. Know that I support you through your decision.
Look, man, I just feel like like there are certain charges that are necessary, like grocery stores. You're hungry, you need food, so of course grocery stores make sense why you go in there. Maybe you could be a little bit more willing to spend a little bit more money because food is fuel. Fam, show me where my money's going when you take it for parking. For what?
It
Kiss
goes.
my ass.
It goes to the city. It goes to It goes to the pockets of the
Well,
city.
you know what? I ain't gonna. I got words, but here's what I'm saying. Fam, there's not even a trash can at the end of every street corner because y'all afraid of a certain group of people digging through the trash getting food. I don't give a fuck, yo. Kiss my ass on this parking.
Dog, that's like your third F bomb, and we are 4 minutes and 20 seconds in. This is about to be like the best episode because I have some F bombs inside of me. Like, this
Oh
is
man.
like, all right, this is housekeeping stuff. As always, this show is brought to you by goingfor2.com. Head over to goingfor2.com for all your fantasy needs. I have been really plugged in the past week. I am preparing for our fantasy drafts. I have been doing mock drafts. I've done like 7 of them since the last time we spoke. I'm
Okay, I
getting in
did
the
one last
zone.
night actually. I need to start doing more.
Like I am, if you do the sleeper app, like I mean, like it's computerized, but it kind of switches up to kind of give you different looks. So like I am prepared. I have my strategy for the draft. I am very confident, if the board falls in different ways, I know what to do, and I'm going to continue to do mock drafts. I'm ready.
Okay, so here's my thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
How many leagues are you going to be in?
Probably 3. Your league. I host a league with my friends that we do for fun, and then my brother-in-law has a league. So sometimes he and I like combine, but definitely your league. Maybe 2 or 3 others. 4 max. Yeah, it's 2 ESPN, one Yahoo, 1 Sleeper. So 4 at the max.
So, of these, how many do you already know your draft position?
None, just yours. So the other leagues are very last minute. They'll like the league will open up a week before the season, the draft. Like it's very casual. It's not as detailed and intense as your league. I don't take those leagues as seriously as this league because one, my money is in this league, and two, well, in the going for 2 league, that's the other league. That's the sleeper league. Yeah. So the going for 2 league and your league are the 2 leagues that I really take seriously because they're buy-ins. Even the going for 2 is $10, yours is 80, but I take those 2 the most serious.
Okay. All right. I see what you're saying. Yeah, I mean, I guess for me, like how I've been doing like my draft strategies a little bit differently than yours. Like I've been trying to do like one mock draft every like 2 or 3 days or maybe a week just because to your point, I'm only going to be in 3 leagues this year, but I already know my draft position in two of the 3 leagues, and in one of the 2 leagues that I know, like my draft position is a keeper league. So like I already like it's my strategy's already kind of set in stone now because I know my 2 positions that I'm keeping, and I know the positions I'm looking for. So I don't know. I've just been kind of doing mock drafts, and just kind of switching between pick 3 and pick 8, and then I'm hoping that it'll help me for this third kind of draft where I don't really know the position yet, and it seems like to your point, it's gonna be one of those that comes together at last minute. So
Yeah.
I'm not gonna know until like an hour before the draft where I'm drafted, which it's bugging me because I was actually in that league earlier. Like, guys, can we just randomize this order now so I know? But I don't know.
They make you strategize on your feet. So let's talk about. So tonight we're going to continue our divisional breakdown. We're going to go into the NFC East, home of the Philadelphia Eagles, the 2017 Super Bowl champions. I had to throw that in there. We'll talk about Deshaun Watson suspension. We're going to talk about the Miami Dolphins. They got in trouble today. Talk about Debo and DK getting those extensions. We're going to talk about the 49ers. We're going to talk about the Cowboys and their value. We're going to talk about some WNBA. We're going to talk about Summerslam. I did not get a chance to watch Summerslam, but I saw the highlights and I thoroughly enjoyed what I saw. We're going to start in the NBA. And first and foremost, rest in peace, Bill Russell, civil rights activist, most winning. He has the most rings ever, right? I think Bill Russell has like 9 or 11. Yeah. 11 sounds right. 11 most winning. He has most rings. Bill, he did more off the court than he did on the court, which is a lot because he did a lot on the court. So rest in peace, Bill Russell.
Rest in peace. Rest in peace.
So let's answer the question. What's my strategy at ninth? My strategy, I can't disclose my strategy right now because D is listening. But I do have a strategy.
So for everyone who is listening to this audio adventure, Danny is answering a question from the chat from Bam.
Thank you.
And with this, I think Danny may have read this wrong. He says, "What's the strategy when you're picking ninth?" I think he's asking for his strategy when picking ninth, not yours necessarily, or a strategy.
Oh, okay. My apologies. So for me, it's what kind of team do I want to build? What do I want my foundation to be? Do I want the foundation to be pass catchers or runners? And take that foundation and build the team that you want to build. That is my philosophy picking ninth. How do I want to build this team? And that's going to revolve around how the board falls. So if the board falls and all the elite running backs are gone, then I'm going to need some elite pass catchers, whether it's, Jamar Chase and Travis Kelce or, Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson. So when you draft ninth, you get the opportunity to draft at least 2 elite players. And that is how I'm going to attack this.
So what do you say to someone who sees the board like they're earlier in the first round, right? And they see the board and they see Cooper Kupp go. No, they see Jonathan Taylor go.
Yep.
They see Cooper Kupp, though.
Mm-hmm.
First 2 picks. And now they're sitting at 3. And they can either go Christian McCaffrey, Derrick Henry, or Justin Jefferson. And they go Justin Jefferson with their first round pick. They double back in their second round pick and take Mark Andrews. Then for their third round pick, they go Elijah Mitchell, then Cam Akers for 4th round. And that's how they start their board.
I think that's a solid lineup.
You think it's dangerous too, isn't it?
That is a dangerous lineup.
Be a respectable team when you
Okay. Is that what you're shooting for? Is that so you're looking for like
that was just a mock draft I did last night. But thank you for letting me know that I'm gonna tell you right now, if you're listening and you're in my league, you fucked up giving me number 3 because my possibilities are endless. It don't matter that Jonathan Taylor's not going to be on the board. It don't matter if Christian McCaffrey's on the board. I'm going to have some dogs. The pressure, I believe, is at 2 people in front of me. They got to take best available.
We'll answer one more question, then we'll get to the NBA. So for those listening, the question is, why do you think Saquon is falling out of talk about being a good running back to draft? Because he is never healthy and he wears cross earrings. I do not trust running backs that wear cross earrings. That's why I want to
look at how they do our good brothers out here with a little bit of swag. I'm not going to agree with you on the cross earring. I will say after 2 years that were kind of riddled by injury, and I think when you look at the Giants offense as a whole, after watching it, I mean, that Giants offense is horrendous. Which is why personally I'm not as glad to see your point on Christian McCaffrey either. I think those are 2 really bad offenses that are going to force feed their running back. And I mean, I don't know. I'm not big on Saquon. I'm not big on Christian McCaffrey. That's why, with something like a 3rd overall pick, if Jonathan Taylor's going and Cooper Kupp's going, I'm telling you, 3rd is looking good for Derrick Henry or Justin Jefferson or Austin Eckler. People think Austin Eckler nice.
He is. I'm saying no, but that wasn't a ooh like ooh. That was a ooh like ooh.
Yeah, because it's just like, no, I'm not good. Let's go. Let's talk some NBA.
All right.
What's good, Gator J?
What's up, Gator? So the NBA announced that they are launching an investigation into the New York Knicks for the signing of Jalen Brunson this summer. Are you buying this investigation? Do you buy tampering investigations in the NBA in general?
Adam, I get it. You got to protect the brand. Is this wink enough? You got to protect the brand. You got to protect the brand. Cause let us let the world know that we're looking into the New York Knicks and how you guys, if free agency opened on March 2nd, how did you guys sign Jalen Brunson the night of March 2nd? Damn, y'all must have been meant for each other, right? That's what happened, right, Adam? That's what you're doing. Man, get the fuck out of here. Let me tell you what this investigation is gonna look like. Hey yo, Knicks, can y'all let me know how y'all signed Jalen Brunson? They're gonna go through all their communication history. They're gonna be like, so you guys never once talked to him before this free agency deadline started. They're gonna be like, nope. We woke up early that morning, called him first thing, woke him up out of bed, and let him know, yo, we got a couple hundred M's on the table for you. And Adam Silver's gonna be like, okay, I don't know how I prove this. Goodbye. And that will be the end of this investigation.
I agree. I don't trust NBA investigations on tampering. And even if you can prove that they tampered, what are you going to do? You can't void the contract.
I want everyone to know, and we'll get into this later once we talk about the Dolphins, that in these professional sports leagues, when they talk about violating or protecting the integrity of the game, I don't want y'all to think that that giving out punishments is their only representation of them protecting the brand. Sometimes not giving out punishment and giving behind the scenes very stern talking tos is their version of protecting the brand, because if they punish you for this, the image damages the reputation of the brand way more than, you know what I'm saying? We'll talk about it.
No. Let's jump to the Dolphins, right? Because that's another big news today. So the Dolphins, the league has punished them for talking to Tom Brady while he was with the Patriots, while he was with the Bucks, to reaching out to Sean Payton's agent while he was still the coach of the Saints. The Dolphins have been stripped of a 2023 first round pick, a 2024 third round pick. The owner has been suspended until October, fined $1.5 million. Someone else in the organization was fined $500,000. My question to you, D, why the hell isn't Tom Brady being punished? Why is it just the Dolphins? Tom spoke to them. They won't talk it to themselves. How does Tom Brady keep dodging these bullets, man?
How do you even prove that?
You think Tom was talking to himself? You think the Dolphins were talking to themselves? Do you think the Dolphins would be talking to Brady if Brady did not give some sort of signal that he would listen to them?
Yo, all Tom and Sean Payton, who was also in this report, have to basically say was, yo, they were calling my phone and I was trying to tell them that I was not interested and that I was not looking to sign, and that this was, I mean, yo, you could say, yo, I didn't even answer. They was talking to someone. Yo, I mean, you can go on and on. As long...
He can't keep getting away with this.
Yes, he can. Yes, he can. He just did, by the way. But again, this is another representation of, yo, did you realize, you kind of realize in that report, they basically said, yo, they did everything to violate the integrity of the game, but intentionally throw games. And that's where I was like, yo, what load of crockamamie shit is this, yo? Are you serious?
It's beautiful.
Do you mean to tell me they were doing all this? They was intentionally not making their team good to stink on purpose, but you mean to tell me that they did not once intentionally really try to lose games? Okay.
Brian Flores said he has too much integrity for that.
So the NFL was basically like, hey, yo, Brian, you was right about everything, but this.
Have fun not having a first round draft pick next year. I wonder what if they strip someone of a draft pick like that, who does it go to? Or is it just 31 first round picks? Like, how does that work?
Well, hopefully they're going to return those draft picks to the Jacksonville Jaguars or the New York Jets or the Washington Commanders, or more than likely the Philadelphia Eagles, one of the bottom tier teams.
Oh, look at you throwing a little shade. Playing in the worst division in football, got the nerve to come for me. Speaking of suspensions, so yesterday the league, not the league, but the judge trying over the Deshaun Watson case suspended him 6 games for violating the NFL's personal conduct policy, and the officer was Sue L. Robinson. What are your thoughts on the ruling? Where does this leave the Browns as they try to navigate with Jacoby Brissett at the helm?
Okay, I'll start with my thoughts on the ruling. Y'all should have known this was coming. I don't know why y'all got on Beyonce's internet and acted surprised. Like y'all didn't know this wasn't gonna happen. People, this is not, and I'm not a Deshaun Watson caper, but I want you to let y'all know all the signs were pointing to this. If you really think about it, all the signs are pointing to Deshaun was not going to get a lengthy suspension because he didn't play last year. Mm-hmm. He can use that that is one. What is it? The commissioner wouldn't put him on a list that would have allowed him to get paid while missing these games. Instead, he didn't get paid, I believe, while missing all these games. So, which is why I believe he wanted all that contract fully guaranteed the way he did. It was all pointing to the way it ended up. But here's what I really think. Why this is when I kind of knew this ruling was going to be the ruling in which it was. The NFL hired this private disciplinary officer, Sue L. Robinson, right? And they basically said, hey, whatever this ruling is, we are going to abide by it. That's why we hired you, because we need to investigate this. We need a third party to investigate and come to a ruling on this. The NFL then looks very, very bad if they get this ruling from this party that they hired, if they appeal that decision, it looks terrible. It's basically like, yo, why did we even hire this third party to begin with? You know what I'm saying? So to that, I think when you look at the Browns even signing them and giving them that fully guaranteed contract, them signing, them trading away Baker the way that they did, it told me the Browns knew this suspension was going to be minimal, or they wouldn't have signed him, or they wouldn't have moved Baker. And I think once we got wind of, you know, the 23 cases being settled, you start hearing the back and forth about, you know, one side is going to sue if you know the other side tries to appeal the decision. It's telling you the NFL wants to put this image up. They are pushing for a lengthy suspension to cover their image of wanting to protect their brand. Want to go back to that. You got to protect the Shield at all costs. So their job is to create this image that they want to protect the image of the Shield. So they're going to put these headlines out. Yo, we want him to get suspended for a year. In the back end, they're working with the players' union, because the players' union is who they're scared of. Because the players' union, who will likely, if the NFL would have appealed this decision, which they might, I think they might have a few days. I don't know if they will. If they decide to appeal that decision, the players' union and Deshaun Watson are likely going to sue the NFL. And boom, now this thing's getting drug out even worse. And now they're in a real conundrum. So I feel like they're going to, I think the NFL, they're either going to accept this decision and use other headlines to drown it out, or they might say fuck it and make this a war with a PR war with Deshaun. I just don't think they want to do that now with the season on the line. I think they're going to want to. I think both sides. I think all parties involved want this to go the fuck away. Respectfully speaking.
Thanks for adding the respectfully. Gladys did point out that he didn't play, but he did get paid last year.
Oh,
I think that's the commissioner's exempt list.
Yeah,
I think that's what it's called. I'll say I thought he would get 8 to 9 games, but on Sunday night, the players union already released that statement. It was like, we're going to accept whatever the judge says. Like, okay, like that's when I knew the fix was in. It's going to be closer to, you know, what he got, 6 games. I'm not surprised. All I'll say is there better not be a smoking gun, right? They gave Ray Rice a few, like when Ray, you know, the Ray Rice incident, gave him a few, like 2 or 3 games, and then the video came out, and now they look terrible. Like there better not be a smoking gun, and if there is a smoking gun, the Browns and the NFL should know where it is and what it looks like, or have an idea of what that smoking gun is, so they know how to handle it. Because this league, too many times they've handed out punishment, and then there's a smoking gun, and then they look like idiots. I believe there's a punter for the Giants who was abusing his wife. She calls the police, said he's abusing me. NFL's like, oh, okay, that's cool. And then he comes out later, like, yep, nah, she right. I was like abusing her. Like the smoke, like there better not be any sort of smoking gun, or the NFL's reputation is going to take another hit. I don't know how many more hits they can take. I mean, they don't have any credibility to begin with when it comes to crimes against women. So I don't know how it can look any worse. But God, there better not be a smoking gun connected.
Maybe the smoking gun. I think the smoking gun might have been the second bullet point after the 6 games was, yo, you got to get a massage through a team licensed masseuse.
Yeah, at the facility. Yo. That should have been in the contract, fam. Like, we don't need a judge to say that.
Yo,
that should have been in the contract.
Underrated thing. And I think this is also being not spoken up enough about. And everyone's like, yo, how could Sue L. Robinson come down with this hearing? A lot of what she gave, the reason why she gave Deshaun Watson 6 was based off of previous non-violent hearings that the disciplinary actions that the league has handed down. That's how she based the 6 games. That's what she based the 6 games off of. So essentially what she kind of said, her statement was, yo, y'all got a history of fucking this up.
Yes.
And even if this dude is really nasty, if I have to judge this fairly based off of how you guys normally handle this, 6 games is the maximum I would get that this, given based off y'all's parameters, 6 games is the maximum. And this is based off of y'all's own, y'all's regulations. But I want everyone to be also clear. If you really read the tonality in that hearing, she was very disgusted by all parties involved.
Yes.
Deshaun Watson, the NFL, the Browns. She was very disgusted with all parties involved. She was like, "Yo, this is 6 games. Don't do this again." And that was another reason why she gave him 6 games, because Deshaun, she said, had in his community had nothing but an outstanding reputation, which I guess played a part in it. She was like, "Yo, you was not nasty before this. You did some nasty shit. Your team knew, the league knew, based off of nonviolent history. The league normally gives X amount or X like disciplinary actions. Based on that, 6 games is where I think this is at. But this is still nasty." And that is kind of what she said.
Like those court documents better remain sealed. Like if TMZ gets their hands on those court documents, like they did that Ray Rice video, and Deshaun Watson kind of pulls a Bill Cosby and is like, "Yep, I did it." But you got to, if something comes out where Deshaun is either under oath or there's a message of him, like any sort of admission of guilt, that's it. That's a wrap. That's it for your boy. In the court of public opinion, because I don't know if NFL can suspend you twice for the same crime.
They're not going to suspend you. Yo,
how do you feel about Jacoby Brissett? If you're the Browns, how do you feel?
Jacoby Brissett, I'm going to tell you right now, the Browns, while they are crying at 6 games, they are also smiling at 6 games.
Oh,
they're probably like, "Yo, this shit could have been worse." 6 games, okay. So, with that being said, Jacoby Brissett, 2-4 or 3-3. That's all you got to do. They're gonna be all right. That's still a good football team. I don't want anyone to get mistaken. The Browns are still a good football team.
So here are those games: Panthers, Jets, Steelers, Falcons, Chargers, Patriots.
3-3, 2-4.
Like
that's all you need to go.
But here's what: Deshaun hasn't played football in a year. Like I don't think he's gonna come in and just light the world on fire. Like there's gonna be some rust. There's gonna be a lot of rust he needs to. I don't give the Browns much of a chance this year anyway. Like this is more about the future. Like I mean, sure they might make a run at the end of the year, but like by that time, like the Bengals and Ravens are so good.
11 games. They'll have 11 games.
The Bengals and the Ravens are
so
good.
Can he play the postseason?
Will he play in the postseason?
Can he play in the postseason?
Yeah, he should be able to.
Oh, so he's going to get a good amount of reps in the postseason. He'll probably be really yeah.
Oh, you mean the preseason? Yeah. He's like in training camp now and stuff. Yeah, he can play in the preseason for us. And yeah, he'll get some.
I'm telling you right now, watch. He's going to be all right. They're going to be all right. I'm not trying to cape for him. Browns are going to be decent. I guarantee you the Browns might be in the running at the end of the year for the division lead. Gladys says, if he didn't request a trade from Houston, would this have come out? Gladys, no.
I say yes. I say it would have came out. Would it have came out last year? No, but I think it would have come out eventually. Like you can't be that nasty to all the women and someone not say something.
That's true too. That's very true.
So let's jump into our divisional breakdown. We're going into the best division in all of football, the most popular division in all of football.
Definitely the most popular. I'll give you that.
The NFC East. So for those who don't know, every week we're breaking down the division until the preseason starts. It's the regular season. How long does this last? It's 8 weeks.
It's 8 weeks. I believe we're going until the season starts.
Yeah, I think it's till the season starts. So each week we give our divisional records, who finishes in what place in the division, and the records, the divisional record, the division winner, storylines, a breakout player, division MVP, or any other thoughts that we may have. So tonight we are in the NFC East. D, the floor is yours. Give me your record starting from worst to best in the division records, and if they make the playoffs.
All righty. As you all know, the NFC East is my favorite division to talk about.
Nope.
Because I know so many fans of all 4 of these teams. Let's start with the last place in the division with a 5-12 record, including a 2-4 divisional record. I have the Washington Commanders.
Okay.
Listen, man, Carson Wentz at the helm. I think they're going to be You know, I think they're going to be mid to average on offense. I think they're going to be trying to find their footing on defense, at least until Chase Young gets back. Good luck. 5-12 for the Washington Commanders, finishing 14th in the NFC. Finishing third in the division with a 7-10 record and a 2-4 divisional record, I have the Philadelphia Eagles.
Nick, what?
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just looking at this team, and I think even with the addition of AJ Brown, I don't know if Jalen Hurts is really the answer to take this team forward in the long haul, but I definitely see them being competitive. So I definitely see them losing a lot of close games, just especially in their division. So I just have them 7-10. At 8-9 with a 4-2 divisional record, I have the New York Football.
Man, get the fuck out of here! Man, get the fuck out of here, dog. Ain't no fucking way Daniel Jones gonna be better than man. Get this shit. Hey, ain't no fucking way, dog. Ain't no fucking way. You think Daniel Jones and the man who wear the cross hoop earring is gonna be better than the Eagles? Man, get the fuck out of here, dog. Get out of here. Hey, yo.
Oh my goodness. Ooh, I just see the Giants taking that step forward. I think Daniel Jones in the contract year, given a new offense. I think the Giants are going to.
Okay.
I think they're also going to be playing a second or third or fourth place divisional schedule. So I think they're going to win a lot of winnable games. I think they're going to be a better team than the team that they face, which has me right there at 8-9. Don't have them making the playoffs. I think they're going to be one game out, though. I do have the Dallas Cowboys winning the division with a 9-7 record and a 4-2 divisional record. I think they're going to be the clear best team in the division. It's not really going to be saying much, but I think they're going to be the clear best team in the division. And I think they're going to. I think their 2 losses in the division, honestly, are going to both be to the Eagles. I think the Eagles are probably going to be the only team who probably have their number from an offensive standpoint. I just don't really see the division overall being that good. So I have 9-7 for the Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, not the Philadelphia Eagles. 9-7 for the Dallas Cowboys.
I didn't realize the Giants signed Jesus as their quarterback. When that happened? Jesus rolled out the tomb and then went to New York to play quarterback. I had no idea.
Everyone says that. I hear you, but we're also forgetting that this is a contract year for Daniel Jones.
I don't care what it is. He is garbage.
You cannot forget the mental aspect of the game. Contract years, they give people extra motivation.
Yeah, I would say that for Daron Payne in Washington. Yeah, because he's a good football player. But Daniel Jones, all right. Is that the? I don't want to interrupt. I'm sorry. Like, is that?
No, that's it. That's it.
Okay, that's it. Okay. This man said the John. All right, man. I hear you. So the real rankings, and these are kind of crazy too, but in the other direction, at 6-11, 1-5 in the division, 12th in the NFC, the New York Giants. They are fucking bums. They have been bums for damn near 7 years, and they will continue to be bums as long as Daniel Jones and the boy who wear cross earrings is playing for them. The offensive line is terrible. Sterling Shepard is okay. Tony is okay. The defense is just okay. It takes a couple years for a new coach to get his program in transition. This is a transition year. They're obviously going to go from – they didn't pick up Daniel Jones' fifth-year option. After this year, they will release Daniel Jones, and they will either draft or try to find someone else. This team is terrible. It is the worst team in the division, and maybe the NFC if you're not Detroit. The Giants are booty. 8-9, 1-5 in the division, and the 8th seed, the Washington racial slurs. We all know what Carson Wentz is.
Wait, but they are the Commanders now.
They're still the racial slurs to me because Daniel Snyder is the owner. Okay. The racial slurs. Carson Wentz, we know who he is. He's going to give us a couple cool plays. He's going to beat the Eagles in Philadelphia because that's just going to happen. I have to accept that. Their defensive line is the best in the division, but Chase Young's not going to be there. Like I said, Deron Payne is in a contract year. I expect him to ball out. That defensive line is stacked anyway. Third in the division at 12-5, 5-1 in the division. Fifth in the NFC, I have them making the playoffs. The Dallas Cowboys. CeeDee Lamb is that dude. I hate them, but CeeDee Lamb is him, and we're going to figure that out. I know Michael Gallup's out. I know they just had a receiver. I think he got caught off. He broke his foot. I think Dak is mid, but Dak is really good in the regular season. I'm concerned about Zeke. I believe Zeke has more carries than any other running back in the league, not named Mark Ingram. That is scary. That kind of wear and tear breaks down. But they're the Cowboys. Their defense, Michael Parsons is good. Trayvon Diggs is okay if he's not getting burned. I think they'll be 12-5. And for the record, every NFC East team has one of the easiest schedules in the NFL. That's why these records are so bloated, because they all will be playing easy schedules. And then,
so I was crazy for thinking that the Giants wasn't going to take advantage of their
what has Daniel Jones done over the course of his career to make you? He can't beat any cupcakes. He is the cupcake.
The problem is an 8-9. My thing is an 8-9 season for the New York Giants is the type of surprising season that I see the New York Giants have, because you have to assume that a team who plays so many last place schedules for that long, eventually they get a good enough team that is just better than their schedule, and that is what I'm basing that off of.
Let's look at the Giants schedule now. I'm intrigued. We'll do that later. And then this is where it gets crazy. 13-4, 5-1 in the division. The Eagles. Jalen, get better on third down passing. Throw the ball over the middle. A.J. Brown gives you a lot of yak opportunities. Miles Sanders runs explosion. Dallas Goedert comes into the season as tight end one instead of following Zach Ertz. This offense has everything it needs to be explosive on the ground and through the air. Jordan Davis stopped the run. The back end I'm a little afraid of. Safety help. Not concerned, but luckily the Eagles aren't playing a bunch of top-tier receivers. Play CeeDee Lamb twice, Scary Terry twice, but who's worried about Carson? Not me. Play the Packers. Devontae is gone. I ain't worried about nobody. Like there's really not like a death row of receivers where you can be like, oh, okay, yeah, he gonna eat us alive. I think the Eagles have enough to go 13-4, 5-1 the division. Huh?
Yeah, just pause.
Oh, I said something crazy. My bad. Good. And no team has won the division in consecutive years since like 2004. Dallas won it last year, so naturally there has to be a new division winner. It's going to be the Eagles this year. Now that we've gotten that out the way, and I still can't believe you have the New York like dog, like out of the most like your conspiracy theory that Will Chamberlain didn't score 100 points. It's that, and then it's the Giants will be better than the Eagles this year in the category of the most wildest shit you've ever said on this show.
I think I'm very validated in that statement. Wait till we get to the NFC North. Y'all are people are gonna think I'm crazy, and I think I'm telling the truth about my predictions.
Okay, that is in a couple of weeks. I'm excited about that because I love to see where your thoughts on the Packers. But talk to me about your biggest storylines out of the East this year.
I think my biggest storyline out of the East this year will be how Dallas is going to be the first repeat division winner in almost a decade, and how really my secondary storyline will be who's going to be the bigger disappointment between the Eagles and the Washington Commanders. I really don't think you guys are going to be good. I think the Commanders are going to just hilariously be worse or right around the same grade. So I'm just curious to see, I think that the storyline, not curious to see, I think the storyline more so would be that, the outside of Dallas, none of the other teams seem like they could get it together.
Okay. My biggest storyline is Sean Payton looming over the Dallas Cowboys. If Mike McCarthy does not win a playoff game, he is going to be fired, and Sean Payton will be the coach of the Dallas Cowboys this time next year. I think the writing is on the wall. He left New Orleans to take a year off. Watch Mike McCarthy trip all over himself. He will be the coach of the Cowboys next year if Mike McCarthy does not win a playoff game. And even if Mike wins a playoff game, he is not safe.
Why does everyone think that a coach who's been coaching there for 3 years now, this is going to be his third year? Why do people think he's just randomly going to get fired?
Let
that
me
quick.
tell you something. If Sean Payton left New Orleans last year and called Jerry and said, "Hey, I'd love to be the coach of the Cowboys," Jerry would have fired Mike McCarthy. That would have been all right. Cool.
I honestly think that y'all be giving Jerry like this true. Jerry low key be loyal. It took him almost damn near a decade to fire Jason Garrett, and y'all think he just gonna up and leave Mike McCarthy in the second, especially when Mike McCarthy kind of already has a history of being successful with this team.
Dog, who you think will be more
You
loyal
start
to Mike?
putting resumes up against each other. Mike McCarthy can honestly look and say, "Hey, everything that Sean Payton has done, I've done in my career too. What has he not done?"
Sean Payton was on Bill Parcells' staff. You don't think Jerry wants dog? Jerry would be more loyal to Sean Payton than Mike McCarthy.
I think listen, and I'm telling you, I think Mike McCarthy has a tit for tat argument as to why it would make no sense. It would make no sense. So he might. I just don't see it.
And then my secondary
Mike,
storyline.
Sean could say, "Hey, I won a Super Bowl." Mike could say, "Hey, I have two." Sean could say, "Hey, I've coached a Hall of Fame quarterback."
I hear you. I just know Jerry loves. I know Jerry loves Sean Payton.
Well, he loved Mike McCarthy too. That's why he hired him. So
yeah, they did have a slumber party, right? Like he said, I invited Mike over to my house and we like drink bourbon and watch film.
I just don't get how people think that he's going to just dump my man. Honestly, I think that's more of a media push narrative than anything.
If Mike McCarthy doesn't win a playoff game this year, we're gonna have some real questions because last year he lost on a QB draw,
and it's a little bit more nuanced than people think. Last year he got scrutinized, yes, by how he lost. Let's just say they lose. Now let's just say they lose on a fumble or a fumble return for a touchdown, some shit like that. That people look at that loss differently. They say less on it was Mike McCarthy and more, hey, you shouldn't have got fired. The way they lost, yes, it was a little bit more on the coaching. So that's why I'm saying, but it's a little bit more nuanced. Let's wait to see how they eventually lose in the playoffs. Because I think we both can agree that that's how they're eventually they're going to lose in the playoffs. Let's see how it is. If they go out there and just get, if they go out there and just get bum rushed in a playoff game, yeah, it's going to look ugly. If they go out there and light it up and lose like a shootout, it just looks different. It looks different. It's more nuanced than people want to give it credit for.
I hear
breakout player. Come on.
Kayvon Thibodeau, Giants defensive line, boys nasty. Kayvon.
I like Kayvon also as a breakout rookie. Zeke.
Okay.
The return of Zeke.
Okay.
Hot take. I think Zeke has one more rushing title in him.
Okay, that is a hot take.
I think Zeke has one more rushing title in him.
In a world where Dalvin Cook, Derrick Henry, Joe Mixon live, Zeke got one more in him? Okay. Yeah. Who's your division MVP?
This one's a little bit harder. I'm actually going to say my division MVP, I think, is going to be Fletcher Cox.
Oh, wow. That is a surprise because Fletch has been on the decline the past couple of years. That would be nice.
Defensive tackle for the Eagles. I think he comes out and has a good all-pro year. It kind of solidifies himself as really a Hall of Famer. I think he's close to retiring, isn't he?
Yeah. He's a year or two away.
A really good year before he ends up calling it a career. I mean, he's already won a Super Bowl, so.
I'm going on the other side of the ball for the Eagles, and I'm saying it's Devontae Smith. That boy nice. That boy nice. And if it's not Devontae, it'll be CD. But I think CD is going to get a lot of the coverage, especially with Gallup gone. A.J. Brown's there. A.J. Brown's going to get the bulk of the coverage. And Devontae's going to have a lot of one-on-ones. And that boy too smooth running routes. It's going to be nasty. You're going to see Trayvon reaching for his ankle and subbing out because Devontae is eating him alive.
So how about this? In my keeper league, one of my keepers is CD Lamb.
Mm-hmm.
My other keeper is A.J. Brown.
Okay.
And I'm picking 8th in the draft. So at 8th, I don't know which running backs are going to be available, but I can almost guarantee you I'm either going running back or if someone's crazy, I'm taking the best available tight end. But
That's not a
I
bad
almost
idea.
I almost really think running back's going to be available at in that second round. I mean, technically the third round. And that at number 8 on my first pick, I think a really good one's going to be available. Like you know what? I'm gonna start putting a little bit more stock, I think, into like the running backs, like Elijah Mitchell, the Cam Akers, the really good ones that aren't talked about a lot.
Yep.
But they're still really good on like run first teams because I'm starting to think about how I want my teams built out, and I don't know. Anyway, we can keep going. Or was that it? Or was that? Oh,
You got any final thoughts about the division?
I think my final thoughts on this division is everyone calls you crazy until your craziness usually proves to be right. All y'all in the comments and Danny laughing at my NFC East takes. Y'all know this division stinks. And when they stink, none of y'all are ever surprised. So why are y'all surprised when I have this division still stinking in a different way?
The Eagles and the Cowboys have owned the division for like the past 5 years. What makes you think that'll change? Like, what have the Commanders and Giants done?
I think Dallas will take the step in being a consistent good team in the terms of the division. I think the rest of y'all are going to take the decline because you don't know who is at the helm and who is going to be leading you to the next phase of your franchise. I would say Dallas is the only one who cemented that.
Okay. My final thoughts. Fuck the Dallas Cowboys.
Now, I'm not going to hold you. That was hilarious. Now, that was hilarious. Now that's going to be the clip that go out on social. I'm crying, yo.
You know what? Oh, the Giants one? Yeah.
My man heard the Giants and was like, hey, yo, dog. That's like when Shaq was when they played that prank on Shaq and they was just naming big men ahead of him. He got to he got to like 4 or 5 in. He was like, "Hey, yo, dog, all right, come on."
What y'all doing? So Gator had a question a few weeks ago. We agreed that Pete Carroll was going to Arizona because he is. Did Kyler and Pete hang out this past weekend and get the vid? No, they hung out this weekend and Pete said, "Hey, man, do your homework. What are you for? Do your homework. Study film."
Wait, okay, I'm not understanding this one.
I'm assuming Gator is saying that Kyler and Pete Carroll have tested positive for COVID. And Gator, correct me if I'm wrong. He's saying that they were hanging out together this weekend to discuss their master plan.
Both Kyler Murray and Pete Carroll tested positive for COVID.
Oh, I have no idea. I have no idea. So Gator, yeah, if you could give us some clarification, like did they both test positive for the vid?
Inform me, Gator.
Or if you mean the vid like video, like tape. But the vid now means
he might be talking about the vid. He might be talking about the vid on Cliff Kingsbury. I don't know. Kato
oh yeah. So Debo
Samuel.
Yep.
DK Metcalf.
Yes, sir.
Both got the bag.
Yes, sir.
Let me ask you something. Whose bag? I mean, not that. Did DK Metcalf's bag look a little bit more petty because he got that 100,000 more than Debo?
I never thought of it like that. I will say I am really intrigued about these big name receivers taking shorter contracts, like 3-year deals, getting a lot of money, guaranteed money. So in 3 years, like they'll still be in their prime to cash in again. Like DK did it, Debo did it. AJ Brown kind of got a similar contract. Like these star receivers are taking, instead of the 5-year deal, they're taking the 3 to 4 year deal for, it's not, 4 years, 110 million, but it's 3 years, 75 million with 50 million guaranteed. And then they can re-up again while they're 27 and get that last big contract.
I honestly think they're starting to look at a career longevity for certain superstars, and you start thinking about like how and this one's gonna hurt to say, yo, there was a point in time when Todd Gurley was the best running back in football.
Yeah.
And 2 or 3 years later, he's out of football. So I think you start looking at the lifespan of certain skill position players, and you realize that you should definitely cash in sooner rather than later. So if you have to take a less higher overall number to get more guaranteed right now, I think that's what a lot of these players are starting to realize, and they kind of want their money now. So I'm with them, yo. Go get the money. Go get the money up front.
Yeah,
Gator said that both Kyler Murray and Pete Carroll tested positive. So prayers up for you both. Hope you guys, stay healthy. That does bring up a good point. Were you guys kind of chit chatting? Were you guys hanging out, Pete Carroll and Kyler Murray? I don't know, but I definitely think, Pete Carroll might have just been, chewing some gum and letting Kyler Murray know, hey man, gotta study that film, man. We were locking you down too easily because we knew some of your tendencies. You got to study the film, or you would have known.
Staying in NFC West, the 49ers getting Jimmy Garoppolo the out of the paint. Why are they treating Jimmy so bad?
Kyle Shanahan has not forgiven Jimmy Garoppolo for costing him a Super Bowl ring, and I think the world needs to remember that. Yes. I'm starting to realize Kyle Shanahan is kind of petty.
Yes.
Kyle Shanahan, after that Super Bowl, I know he was mad. They were leading for most of that game. Your quarterback throws one interception, changed the whole complexion of the game. You guys ended up losing that game, and you guys haven't came close to really getting back to a Super Bowl since. The best you got is the NFC Championship game.
Which is still impressive, but Trey Lance hopefully can get you over that hump to the Super Bowl. Back to those trash-ass Cowboys. According to Sportico, they're the most valued franchise in sports at $7.64 billion. That's with the B. $630 million ahead of the Yankees. It's also good to note that there are 16 NFL franchises that are worth at least $4 billion versus 7 total in other U.S. sports leagues. D, is there any surprise here? Like, do you have any thoughts about the Cowboys being the most valuable franchise in sports?
It pays to be hated.
That is a word.
It pays to be hated. For every one person who cheers the Dallas Cowboys, there's 10 people who don't like that one person for cheering the Dallas Cowboys. That makes it 11 people who are now talking about the Dallas Cowboys.
That is correct. I would also like to see the value of jorts and Flint 13s as well, because that got to be through the roof.
They up there. They're up there. Shout out to the Yankees, yo. And their valuation is going up now because they're good this year.
Yeah.
Which is also another sign. Pay your players when you can pay them for the cheaper and make them happier. Because
Mark Cuban.
I'm letting y'all know now. The check that the Yankees are about to write to Aaron Judge, if they haven't already, I don't know if they've gotten that contract. I don't know if they've gotten that worked out. But the contract that they're going to have to give Aaron Judge is going to just be blankless. Yep. It's going to have no values.
It's going to be that $630 million that separates them for the Cowboys.
Man, when I saw Mike Trout's contract, I said, "Good Lord."
Yo, if I have a son, he playing baseball. I don't know nothing about baseball. I don't watch baseball, but boy, we putting a bat in your hand and you're going to do some weights. You're going to stack this wood. I'm going to turn you into a slugger.
Hey, yo!
What?
Juan Soto was traded to the San Diego Padres. I think this happened a little bit before it came on the air. I also heard, which was I'm still piecing together kind of like the finalizations of this trade. But I also heard that in this trade, the Padres were trying to the Padres are trying to include a player in this Juan Soto trade who basically said, no, I'm not going to be included in this trade. And they had to find a suitor to take this guy. And I think he ended up going to the Boston Red Sox. And so it makes me think, yo, can you imagine being a sports team and you land a blockbuster trade for a guy that you think is really going to help take your franchise to the next level. And in the midst of this trade, the person you're like, one of the people you're trading basically says, "Yeah, man, hey yo, dog." They invoke their no trade clause, and next thing you know, you're having to like retweak and like re-edit your own trade. That's wild. And that's some shaky stuff. Hosmer, yes, thank you, Gator J. Yes, Hosmer was the name of the player. I believe he's now on the Boston Red Sox. So shout out to my guy Drew Hicks. I know he's a big Boston Red Sox fan. I also watched the Red Sox and Astros game, I believe, last night, and this guy, yo, no lie, this guy was being interviewed. And, like, no. I think he was warming up with the team, and as he was warming up with the team,
I saw that.
rushed him because he had gotten traded like as he was warming up, and he didn't even know. They started asking him questions, and like, I mean, the sports media person decided to kind of snatch and be like, "Yo, let's get out of here." But
Got to go check out.
Like that, yo, that's scary. That's kind of fucked up.
That's scandalous. That's like who was it for the Jets that was getting on the bus? Was it Teddy Bridgewater? Like he got traded. He was getting on a bus. And they're like, "Hey, Teddy, let me talk to you real quick. You can't come. You just got traded. Have a good one,
I
bud."
don't remember that, but dang.
I think it was Teddy.
I mean, yo, I wish teams could have a little bit more shame. Like at least Vontae Davis retired at halftime. You know what I'm saying?
Legend.
Speaking of quitting, there was someone who quit on a WNBA team. Talk to me more about it.
Yeah, so this is a wild story. I have gotten more into WNBA this year, and Liz Cambridge quit on the LA Sparks. She after a game, she was in the locker room. She grabbed her stuff and was pretty much like, "Good luck, y'all. I gotta go." And then she just quit. What a time to be alive. What a time to be a WNBA fan. Don't forget, Liz Cambridge earlier this year was accused of calling Nigerian basketball players monkeys during a scrimmage. Like she has been wilding all year.
So, do we know if there was like some rumblings of like some friction with her or teammates or her or?
Yeah, so apparently she thought she wasn't getting the ball enough, right? So the WNBA, I'm just getting into this, like they're kind of transitioning to like what the modern NBA is, right? Like you need to have versatile bigs, and Liz is very much a traditional big, run down, puts hand up, get the ball in post, and go to work. She felt like she wasn't getting the touches that she deserved because she was one of the big names in free agency this offseason. She went to LA. She negotiated her own contract. That was a big thing. She got a lot of money, in regards to like on the WNBA scale. She felt like she wasn't, like the offense wasn't flowing through her, like she wasn't getting her touches. You should have stayed in Vegas. You could have been on a team that's contending for a championship.
Why did she leave?
Because again, Aja Wilson plays the same position as her. And Aja is like one of those modern WNBA bigs that can do more than just put a hand up and post up. It's like the game is passing her by. Last thing before we get out of here, SummerSlam. What were your thoughts on SummerSlam?
Dear heavens, Triple H. If I have to see Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns again.
Praise. Come on now.
Hunter Helmsley. Triple H, the game, the cerebral. You know his name. You know him. Please put it to bed.
Yes. Forever.
It was a good match for the most part. I don't know. SummerSlam was cool. I'm glad that Theory didn't cash in. I think that would have been mad corny. Very curious to see where they're taking Edge. I think the Cody Rhodes injury really set WWE back, and I think it's fucking up their kind of creative, along with this whole Vince McMahon scandal. I think Cody Rhodes, I really believe, was in their long-term plans, and I think it was definitely leading to a Cody Rhodes Roman Reigns like SummerSlam or WrestleMania match. So I'll be curious to see what they're planning on doing. But SummerSlam, I think they delivered to it enough. I'm super curious on who's eventually going to beat the Usos. I think it's going to be Dolph Ziggler and AJ Styles. I think they have something, but who knows?
Again, I didn't watch it. I was able to catch highlights. Yes, get these part-timers out of here. We know how I feel about Rhonda. We know how I feel about Brock. We should never, ever, ever see them again. Pat McAfee is a wrestler, which is insane to say. He
He didn't
did,
do bad either,
yeah.
Gator. He didn't do bad.
He did not do bad at all. I will say I
Gator
love
did
the
Logan Paul. I want to give him his credits.
yeah. Logan Paul's doing it. He's doing it.
Logan Paul did not do a bad job at all. Hey man, I mean, I think pro wrestling is getting in a very creatively. I think the athletes are. I think athletes are a step above what they previously were a generation ago. I think, mic wise, we're starting to find that real balance of personality and athleticism that is, I think, is matching some previous eras. I don't think it's ever going to be that attitude era that late 90s, early 2000s. I don't think we'll ever get that again. But I think where we are in terms of a modern version of wrestling, I think they're in a really good place. And I will let you guys know, AEW is raunchy. Like it is, and it's raunchy. And if you are a bigger fan of maybe the more raunchier late 90s, early 2000s pro wrestling, AEW is not bad at all. It's raunchy.
Yeah.
It's definitely raunchy.
I will say I'm glad.
WWE is too, because they've been pushing this. I think they're teetering on. I've been watching them play with this whole Miz and the size of his balls angle pause.
Yeah, that got to stop.
But you see what they're trying to do. They're trying to push that line to see where they can play. Because I think they're thinking about going back to TV-14, which
that'll be cool.
For you people who don't know, that creatively opens up a few more lanes when they do that. But it's also your brand as well. But
I will say I'm glad. I love the fact that Roman Reigns doesn't care if Theory cashes in. Like I think that's a really interesting storyline. He's like, go ahead, cash in, dog. Like I'll beat your ass. It doesn't matter how I feel.
He's gonna make it known too. So that's gonna be the storyline. He just completely underestimates Theory, and good. I think that's what everyone's thinking. Theory's gonna be the next like John Cena. There's a dude named Baron Corbin who. There's a reason why Baron Corbin became Baron Corbin, because he was supposed to be the next John Cena. People, you have to, that Money in the Bank, it's not guaranteed anymore, people. No. I don't think it's guaranteed anymore. Takes some work to build the crowd, build a following, whether you're a heel or a face. It ain't as easy as it used to be. So I want to shout out, the guys like Seth Rollins, Becky Lynch, Roman Reigns, Bailey, these men and these women who they've worked with their craft, and now they are independently, whether they're a face or a heel, they can make their known presence felt.
Keep Becky face. She turned face last night. She needs to be a face forever. She's okay as a heel, but she's a better face. Keep the belt on Bianca forever. She's the best women's champion. She's one of the best champions in the industry. Like, give Bianca the belt till WrestleMania. She cannot lose it to Ronda. Anyone but Ronda. Keep the belt on her till WrestleMania.
It's okay, because at WrestleMania, when it's Bianca versus Sasha Banks again, after WWE pieces it up with her,
as they should. I can't wait to see Dwight Howard at WrestleMania. Did you hear he's been doing tryouts at WWE?
Dwight, look, it's okay, brother. Go to the WWE. I guess there's no need for you to be blocking out and getting rebounds anymore, my friend. Guess there is no need. Liz Cambage was wilding, like she's bugging.
Like I'm surprised no one decked her. Like you just can't be going around calling me no monkey.
So like because I remember just seeing and like the press announcement about it was effective immediately. Liz Cambage, Los Angeles Sparks mutually separated.
Cool. Apparently she just grabbed her stuff and was like, "Good luck, y'all," and just walked out. Work on your 3-point shot, sis.
Has anyone heard from her since? Anything since?
I haven't heard anything from her since. I've been too busy paying attention. For anyone who watches the WNBA, the Las Vegas Aces, Kelsey Plum.
She nice. She scored 20 in a bunch of how many games straight?
Dog, Kelsey, I don't know what it is about the third quarter. I watched the game Sunday against Indiana. She had 18 in the third. Dog, they played 10-minute quarters.
She nice.
She is nice. MVP. They won the Commissioner's Cup. The Aces will probably win the championship. Again, like I'm just getting into this WNBA world, thoroughly enjoying it. D, do you have anything for us?
I want to shout out Lewis Hamilton, George Russell, and the Mercedes F1 team. Hey,
Okay.
it's a steady push. I remember what that car was like at the beginning of the season, had no pace, could not keep up with Ferrari and Red Bull whatsoever. And now they have pace. They just got to do better in qualifying rounds. It's gonna be interesting. I think Red Bull is probably going to end up winning both the drivers and the constructor championship. But it's really, I think the real race now is for second in the constructor championship between Ferrari and Mercedes. And for anyone who does not watch Formula One, if you watch the Hungarian Grand Prix over the weekend, you saw the Ferrari strategists and management completely leave their two drivers out there to die in that race. It's like unbelievable. Matthew, in the best ways I can explain it to you as someone who doesn't watch Formula One, imagine your team, your Eagles are playing the Cowboys. Mm-hmm. It's a close game, and the Cowboys fumble on their two. And you guys get it, and you guys get the ball, and you go three and out. You go three straight running plays. Get the fourth down. Instead of play action pass, you guys run it again. Stuffed. Then turnover on downs. The Cowboys get the ball back. Turn the ball over immediately. You guys do the same three running plays. Get to the goal line again on that fourth running play, and run the ball again and don't get in. And then the Cowboys get the ball back, hold, and then they win the game. That is the Formula One equivalent of what Ferrari did to their two drivers. I can explain it to you, but I don't know if you would really understand it.
I think that paints a clear picture, but that sounds like something that will happen to the New York Giants, which is absurd that you still have them ahead of the Eagles. The Giants ran a QB sneak on 3rd and 10 on their own 5. And you got the fucking nerve to come up in here and say that they're going to be, Cal, hello, welcome to the party. Only thing you missed is D tried to sit here and tell the world and tell us that the Giants are going to be better than the Eagles this year from a team that ran a QB sneak on their own 5 last year because they wanted to quit and they didn't want to play football anymore. I have nothing else. D, do you want to take us home? Like that might be the most wild take I've heard in a long time.
Kyle, most of the NFC East is going to be playing a bottom half schedule. It is not crazy to think that the team who's going to probably play the worst of all of the NFC East schedules might mess around and finish 8 and 9 and second in that division. That's all I'm saying.
It is absurd.
Well, Kyle believes you, so we'll see. People, make sure you are following the podcast that is at @speakonit_pod on Instagram. We really appreciate the support on Instagram and Twitter. We really appreciate everyone pulling up to hang with us here on Tuesday nights, 7:30 Eastern time. And make sure you guys are following myself at Los D-Mix on YouTube, on Twitch, on Instagram and Twitter. I will be, I think starting next week, I will be streaming these episodes live on Twitch and YouTube simultaneously. And then part of me thinks maybe I need to bring back this YouTube channel.
Yeah, the streets loved it, and the streets loved the Twitch. Like when the streets was talking about the Twitch. I was excited about the Twitch.
I've been thinking about bringing back the Twitch streams. I've been playing a lot of Fall Guys.
Okay.
For my people out here, I've been playing a lot of Fall Guys. So I'm thinking about it. I don't know. But as always, people, make sure y'all follow at Los D-Mix. That's LOSDEEMIX, YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, and Twitter. @speakonit_pod on YouTube. On Twitter and Instagram. Danny, take it away.
You can find me on Twitter at MattAds14. Again, like D said, follow us on IG, Instagram, speak on it _pod. Follow D, Low C Mix, on all his platforms. He creates great content and he's a real funny guy when he's not talking about the New York Giants and the Eagles. Other than that, he's a great human being and you should follow him. Again, head over to goingfor2.com. All your fantasy needs daily, redraft, snake, the whole nine. Everything is there. That's it for us. Do you think you have one more thing to say? I gave you a compliment and it looks like you're about to ruin it.
All right. Another great show. We need to get a Going for Two league.
I think there might be one. Kyle, is there a league? I know there's one for the writers. Like, is there just like an open Going for Two league?
Yeah, I think
right. I think there is one.
You know what we need to do? How many shows are there on the Going for Two network?
I believe between 6 and 9.
You know what we need to do, Jeff? If you're hearing, we need to have a Going for Two show fantasy football league.
Oh, like there's a speak on it league.
No.
You ready to be? Oh, okay.
As in like all like everyone's going for two show. The hosts co-own teams and it's a league.
Oh, like so me and you would be co-GMs.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool. And if we lose, we could say it's racist. And we win.
we got to go to there. We got to do affirmative action. We got to go in there.
We got to finish in third place, my brother.
Nah. We ain't even got to be if we lose. Let us get our draft position. Yo, racism. Stop the count.
Stop the count. Hey, yo. That's it for us, yo. Again, that's a great idea. Like we can talk about that, like just a Going for Two league. That's actually a really good idea. D, we'll see the people next week.
Kyle, this is what it looks like when you really want to be an ally. Yeah, no, I love that. I just,
I love it.
It's
just funny. It's just funny. Oh, this should
That's
be
what it looks like when you're really an ally.
That should be a clip for social. All right, y'all.